Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, today let's talk about something very poignant for summertime, and that is core temperature. Now, to illustrate my point, let me give you the reverse first. Okay? According to a military study that I read many years ago, they were talking about that in the Arctic environment, you required more water than you did in the desert. Well, you are surrounded by snow. So it would make sense then that you wouldn't have to carry a canteen, just pick up a handful of snow and eat it, right? You're surrounded by a water source, so it shouldn't be any problem to procure water, right? Wrong. Why don't we eat snow in the very cold winter? It's because it will drop your core temp and therefore cause you to have issues staying warm. You'll burn more energy trying to reheat from that snow, okay? From that same statement, mindset, I would like to address an issue that I was talking to somebody about, and it was in the summertime on a camp out. And when I'm saying in the summertime, like down here in my south, where the mean temperature is well over 90 degrees, usually close to 100, with high humidity, why would I want to cook a big old steaming hot pot of chili for lunch? Or why would I want to start off the day for breakfast by eating a bunch of ham and eggs and drinking a whole pot of scalding hot coffee? How's that affecting my core temperature? It, without thinking about it, we're letting our day-to-day lives of back home, where we typically, I'd get up in the morning, I'd walk in the kitchen, I'd fire up the coffee pot, and, I'd put this in the toaster, and I'd do that with the microwave, and blah, blah, blah. So we're in that routine. So when we go to the field, the idea is, well, I'm just going to do the same thing there. But that may not be the smart thing to do. And many years ago, I began thinking about this because I had brought things like chilies and stuff like that was quick and cheap and easy, and I was heating them up in a canteen cup. Well, here it was over 100 degrees. I stopped and built a fire. Then I heated up my canteen cup and sat there, sweat just boiling off of me next to the fire, heating up my chili to move over here and eat this hot chili. That type chili that I had really didn't taste good unless it was hot. And then drink a canteen worth of water trying to put that heat out, and then I sat there and sweat just boiling out of me. I was heating myself up beyond what was necessary. And so I started changing a little bit. I started taking and addressing this, and I found my method that works for me. I'm not in any way trying to say this is the way to go, but this is what I do whenever I was trying to hike in the summertime, etc., and get from A to B. It actually begins the night before, because what I would do is I would set up my rucksack, and I would go ahead and take down my camp except for what I needed to sleep. So I still had my tarp up, I had my hammock up, and I had my bedding. All the rest of the gear was packed into my rucksack and secured up there at the head of the hammock. In the morning when I woke up and I got up, I changed into my clothes that I was going to wear for the day. My sleep clothes went into the haversack, rucksack. My pillow, my whatever cover I had went into it. Folded up the hammock, it went in. Folded up the tarp, went in. Picked it up. I am mobile. Let's go. I filled up my canteen the night before. I would not start out with breakfast. I'd walk first. I would typically try to do like 1 or 2 miles. Sometimes if it was downhill, 5 miles. At a nice leisurely pace. Give it an hour, hour and a half, something like that. And then I would eat breakfast. And what was the breakfast I preferred to tote? A Ziploc bag with cereal in it. Fruit Loops or something like that. I could eat it dry and just drink from my canteen, because I knew where my next water source was coming up, and I got a full canteen, right? So like eating candy, I just start eating handfuls of it. Now you could eat peanuts, you could eat trail mix, you could eat whatever. But see, it's not heating me up. And down here in the south, in the heat of the summer, you got that magic couple of hours in the morning from, say, sunrise just before 6 till about 9:30, depending, when you can be physical and not just pour sweat. After that point, the sun's up, it's bearing down on you so bad, you're just going to burn up. So I wanted to push hard in the beginning of my hike in the morning. So I'm going to try to do that 5 miles. It's the coolest it's going to be. It's the shadiest it's going to be. I'm in the best shape I am at this moment as far as hydration and rest and etc. So I would push to try to get to that first marker, which somewhere around 5 miles is what I tried to do. And that takes an hour and a half, something like that. Then I'm going to take my break. I'm going to eat my cereal, drink my stuff at my water source, refill my water canteens, either by boiling like I did for many years or by chemistry. How'd I do boiling? I had a small thing off the side, but I didn't have to stand there and stir stuff. It was over here, right? So once I got it going, I could back over here. Once the water was boiled, I just reached, pulled it out, and made sure my fire was out. So I'm not heating myself up. Then I went for my second leg of my hiking. Now it's hotter, okay? I'm not going to push as hard. I'm going to go until I get to my good resting spot with my water source, okay? And that may be something I already know, or I may just start looking for one along that time. I'm in an area that I have an idea where the stuff's going to be. So I get to my lunchtime rest. Now the sun's straight up, it's blazing hot, guys. I've been going roughly 6-7 hours at this point. At that point, I'm going to find someplace nice and shady. I'm going to sling up my hammock. I'm going to have my full water source, and I'm going to crash for 2 hours. Let the heat of the day, let the sun go from like 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Because when it's about 12, it's straight over. There ain't no hardly shade in any trail. You're in the sun. By 2 o'clock, it shifted where you do have a little bit of shade on one side of the other trail. And so now I'm back in a little bit of shade. Lunch would be some small little thing, again, that I didn't have to heat and eat. That was that crackers and tuna fish, or that crackers and cheese spread, or whatever. Okay? I needed protein, I needed my carbs, but at the same time, I didn't want to generate any excess heat for me. Now, my final leg. I'm on the easy end now. I pushed hard for getting mileage. I've got my second. I've done 6 hours. Now in my next 3 hours, from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, it's going to be the leisure. I'm moving to my predetermined camping site, or looking for a camping site that has the water, the fuel, and everything I want. That's when I'm going to get in, pick my site, set up my camp. And of course, all along here, there's going to be snacks and plenty of hydration. I'm going to pull out something small to eat. But I haven't heated and cooked anything. Okay? Now I get my camp set up for the night. I'm going to have my fire for the night. Okay? Now, right at close to dark, that's when I'm going to make the transition. I'm going to cook in the clothes I've wore all day, because they're already sweaty and irky. Okay? I'm going to sweat a little. That's when I'm going to bring out the meal that I'm going to cook, that I'm going to heat, the chili, the whatever I'm cooking. I'm going to cook it. I'm going to retire back over here away from my fire, keeping my fire going, and I'm going to eat. Yes, it's going to raise my core temperature, but I'm done exerting for the day, right? I'm done hiking. I can afford now to eat and sweat a little. Now, after I've done eating, done my dishes and everything, after I quit sweating profusely, the sun is almost going down now, that's when I'm going to make my bath time. That's when I'm going to take off the irky clothes. I'm going to wash and get rid of all the body salt that I can. Sorry for the noise, guys. And then I'm going to change into my sleeping clothes, which is going to be the fresh t-shirt, shorts, or whatever. And I'm going to hang around camp, around the firelight for the rest of the night. By doing this, I have not overly heated myself during the day. By staging it this way, The last thing I do before I lay down is I repack everything into my rucksack and put it at the head. I've got my water can system filled up. I'm ready to go. So in the morning, again, I get a fast break and I start making my miles. This mindset of maintaining my core temp as close to what I want it to be without inadvertently adding to my heat problems is what's going to make my life better and more productive. I know a lot of people that they get up, I've camped with a lot of people, they get up and man, that coffee pot's got to be going. I got to have my coffee, Mark Hudson. And so they sit there and they start drinking their coffee, you know, and they're going to do 2 pots of coffee. Well, time's ticking. Now that they've cooked the meal, they've had their bacon, their eggs, and everything else, and they're so full of coffee and everything. Now they got to put the fire out. Now they're full and they're hot, and now they're starting their walk, and they're not getting going until 8 or 9 o'clock. We're almost out of the prime time to be making tracks. We're into the heat of the day now, so they're not going to go far before they're hot, and they just got to stop and rest. And they're going to make their next little saunter, and they're going to get hot, and they're just going to have to rest. And about every time they stop, they want to fire up and heat up something. They're constantly adding back to that hot core. I want a cool core as much as I can in this kind of heat. So, in conclusion, pick foods that I can eat cold. Try them out at home. I like tomato soup cold out of the can. I like chicken a la king, cold out of the can. There are other foods that I can tend to pop open and eat directly and not have to heat up. I get all the nutrition. It's fully cooked. All I got to do is eat it. How's that different from an MRE? Or an MRE, if that's what you prefer. Pick the foods that's not going to raise your core temperature during the time when it's so hot. Stage your activities to take advantage of the environment conditions you're in. Stay hydrated. And if you start getting the symptoms of heat exhaustion or heat stroke and know what those are, immediately take action. Get hydrated, get cool, get whatever you got to do. That's the only way to enjoy being in the woods in the summer. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And until next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.